Hi everybody, this is Ashley with Ashley Says So, and I am back with another member exclusive for my members, honey. It is time to get into this nasty, messy tea, honey, with Mr. Morgan Freeman. Baby, what he had going on? Let's get to it.
All of my videos are for entertainment purposes. Everything in them is rumor, gossip, and scandal that I get from books, word of mouth, on TV. Let's get to it.
Morgan Freeman was born June 1st, 1937 in Memphis, Tennessee. His mother's name was Mamie Edna Freeman, and his father's name was Morgan Porterfield Freeman. By the time he was 12 years old, Morgan went to the movies all the time, and his favorite movies were movies that involved the military or war. He just loved the heroicism. He also liked the way the movie showed the camaraderie and everybody getting along and like a brotherly love. So when he got out of school, he joined the Air Force to take to the skies with his American brethren. Sure, them folks called that boy all type of niggas and nappy scapped head and all kind of stuff. He was a brother, all right, a black brother, and he was not invited to the party. And then as far as taking to the skies, baby, they had that boy being a radar mechanic and just cleaning bathrooms and just all kind of stuff that he did not sign up for. And so he ended up leaving the military because it's not something that he wanted to do. And so since that didn't work out, it was time to do his next love, and that was acting. And so as soon as Morgan could, he took a bus and went to Los Angeles. And so it was in this time period he ended up meeting a pretty young lady by the name of Lolita Atkins. He charmed her out of her pants and her panty. And so Morgan would come to Lolita's house every night, baby, to rock out with his cock out. And one of those nights he came to rock out at Lolita's house, she told him, Morgan, hold on, I'm pregnant. And so Morgan is like, hold on, Lolita. Okay, let me just go home tonight and just think about this, and then we'll talk about what we're gonna do in the morning. Morgan ain't went back to no home or motel or nothing like that. He left her house and jumped straight on a bus and thought about Lolita being pregnant all the way up to New York. Yes, Morgan Freeman basically abandoned Lolita and their child. And when she had that child, it was a boy, and she named him Alfonso Freeman. As a matter of fact, the messy tea on the street says that Morgan wasn't in Alfonso's life, or the child didn't even meet Morgan Freeman until the child was 19 years old. When he got to New York, there was one woman that ended up capturing his heart. Now, I am not exactly sure of this lady's name, but some gossip calls her Ann, so I'm just gonna call her Ann. Morgan starts to date this lady Ann, and they start to get in a serious relationship.
But Morgan had a hard time staying faithful.
And so he started cheating on Ann a lot. And gossip claims that one of those women on the side became like a steady woman on the side. Like he was seeing her a lot, showing up at her house just like he was showing up at Lolita Atkins' house back in California. And just like Lolita back in California, he showed up at this side chick's house and she told him, Morgan, I'm pregnant. And so he told this side chick, hey, let me go home and let me think about it, and we will see what we will do. And what Morgan do? Jumped back on the bus and went right back to Los Angeles and left Ann and that doggone pregnant woman behind. So this was the second baby born into this world abandoned by Morgan Freeman. And this child's name was Chileee Freeman. I mean, just a scandalous thing, child. And then poor girlfriend Ann, she was left back in New York, and ain't no telling what she was thinking, but clearly Morgan was not thinking or feeling anything about her, because as soon as, or even before he got back to Los Angeles, he was already making connections with another woman. And this lady's name was Jeanette Bradshaw Adak. The year was 1962, and Morgan was about 25 years old when he met Jeanette. Well, Jeanette, of course, is a beautiful woman, but she already had her own child. Well, she was surprised to see that Morgan accepted her child as he is. He had no problems. This child's name was Dina, and they became pretty much a family, even getting married in 1967. And then on top of that, they had their own daughter born in 1970 named Morgana. Now, I'm sure when Jeanette met Morgan, he appeared to be a knight in shining armor, but once they got married, gossip claims that things kind of went downhill very fast. Jeanette found out that he really was a true broke, struggling actor. And not only that he was very negative. And so he would come with all of these complaints. He always got a nasty attitude. He was always upset that his career was not going the way he wanted it to go. Morgan was so bad, when he booked the role Easy Reader on the electric company, Jeanette tried to be celebratory. You know what I'm saying? She tried to be like, yes, you got your job. Everything is working out. Baby, the folks say that Morgan Freeman sat up there and snapped and was like, I ain't proud of this role. This is not a serious acting role. What the heck is Easy Reader? And baby, the folks say that on the set, Morgan was high as a kite. kite. High as a kite, because not only was he drinking, he also was smoking marijuana and baby doing a boatload of cocaine. So gossip claims that everybody is so hush hush or all confused about why him and Jeanette really started to go down the drain. One of the reasons was because Morgan was always cheating. There was never a time when he was faithful. That was one of the reasons. The other alleged reason is because gossip claims that Jeanette herself got hooked on cocaine. This couple was definitely drugging, but then Morgan's career started to pick up. He started being offered more roles. Morgan started to clean himself up. You know what I'm saying? He stopped trying to drink. You know, he got off the drugs. Probably didn't do it completely, but just basically to be more serious and more presentable. Well, by that same token, Jeanette did not get clean as fast as Morgan wanted her to. So Morgan started kind of looking to upgrade. He's headed to the big leagues now. So, you know, who wants a junkie on his arm? And allegedly, because he felt this way, he basically started to disrespect her. It's almost like in her face, he was trying to show her that he was trying to replace her. You know, that would hurt. I've done all this for you, and then also now I'm on this cocaine, and now you're trying to like run away from me, trying to leave me, acting like I'm not good enough. So with all of this mess going down, their marriage just straight up disintegrated. And in 1979, they ended up getting a divorce. And when they did get a divorce, Morgan's career started to take off very quickly. By 1984, when a beautiful costume designer named Myrna Chileee came into his life, she was around 43 years old at this time, and she had not had a child yet, and she wanted one so badly, and she begged and pleaded for Morgan to give her a child. But he told her, no, you won't be getting a child from me because I already have kids. I don't want to do that again. So you either go with no children or you go with no Morgan. And Myrna decided to go with no children because she loved Morgan, and then everything worked out in her favor. Morgan's ex-wife, Jeanette, her eldest daughter that she already had before Morgan, that child's name was Dina, right? Y'all know who that child was. So Dina ended up giving birth to a child named Adina that she could not take care of. And so Morgan and Myrna, his wife, stepped in and told Dina that we will raise baby Adina for you. And so Dina agreed because it was pretty much like she was giving her baby to the baby's granddaddy, which he was. He was the step granddaddy to baby Adina. So like I said, there's Morgan, there's his wife Myrna, and now they have baby Adina. Life becomes fantastic for the Freeman family. I mean, this man is starring in movie after movie after movie. And so pretty much for 20 years of their life, everything is wonderful. Everything is great. And then the year 2008 came around, and that is when Morgan Freeman's picture perfect life started falling apart. You see, by the year 2008, Morgan Freeman had actually moved back to Mississippi, which is the state that he grew up in. And on this particular night in Mississippi, Morgan Freeman was driving down a winding road when he was involved in a very violent car crash. Morgan suffered a broken arm and other injuries, but there was someone else in the car with him who had possibly suffered more damage than he did. And if you're looking at her and thinking, well, that doesn't look like Morgan Freeman's wife, then you would be right. This was a lady by the name of Damaris Meyer. Well, after the car crash, the media exploded. Everybody is, praying for a speedy recovery, hoping that Damaris as well as Morgan recovers. And then after some time passes, people are wondering just who is Damaris Meyer, and also why is she and Morgan in a car together on a late Sunday night? Tongues start wagging trying to answer this question. And so another thing that we find out is Morgan was actually drunk driving. Well, when Morgan did fully recover and he was coherent enough to start answering questions, he shut his mouth tight. But even though he shut his mouth tight, the streets kept on talking. And one of the things that was doggone said is that Morgan Freeman had been acting a fool, baby, especially down in Mississippi. Now, the words on the street says that Morgan Freeman is having a party down in Mississippi, and gossip claims Damaris Meyer was at this party. Well, sometime during the night, Damaris starts to complain that she is just much too tired to make it back home. There's no way she can drive herself back home. So the owner of the house tells Damaris, well, hey, you can just stay here. Well, Morgan, like the white knight and charmer that he is, steps up to Damaris and says, oh no, baby, you don't have to stay here. You can actually stay at my house. Don't you actually live closer to my house? So just come to my house and stay in a guest room. And so that is where they were headed. She and Morgan were headed back to his house, and she was going to stay in his guest house. And he just so happened to have a wreck because he was drunk. And so the public apparently did not like that. They did not believe that, and they did not buy that. So they proceeded to calling Damaris all type of hoes, everything, home wrecker, all kind of stuff. Well, because of this public outcry, gossip claims Damaris ends up losing her job. And plus, she does not like being treated as a home wrecker, you know, people calling her sluts and all of this kind of stuff. So she gets angry and she wants to sue Morgan Freeman. And she actually did sue Morgan Freeman because she felt like her life was ruined because he was drunk driving and had this wreck. And now everybody feels like she's a home wrecker. Well, soon words start to go around that Damaris is not Morgan's mistress, but Morgan does indeed have a mistress. It's just not her. Now, nobody knows exactly who put this rumor out, but the rumor starts to spread at the same time that Damaris is trying to basically get the spotlight off of her. But like I said, the rumor or gossip was that Damaris was not the mistress, but that Morgan Freeman did have a mistress. So this is the big news now. Everybody's talking about this in the media. Well, Morgan Freeman, in the meantime, is being called a cheat, you know what I'm saying, a black bastard and all kind of stuff, a sorry dog. And so he puts out a statement and he says, well, you know, me and my wife have been separated since 2007. So you guys are saying all of this, but you know, actually you didn't know that me and my wife were already separated. Honey, he would have done better just to shut his doggone mouth because he opened up a can of worms like never before trying to make that doggone statement. See, when Morgan made a statement like this, it kind of confirmed for the messy celebrity watchers out here that Morgan is basically saying, yes, I'm doing what I want to do. Yes, I'm cheating, but it shouldn't concern you or anybody else because I'm separated from my wife. But separated, sir, is not divorce. Also, when you say things like this, you drop little crumbs for the messy public to try to figure things out. So right when he said that, boom, pretty much everybody knew that yes, you have been cheating, and yes, sir, you do have a mistress. So let us do some digging and see who the mistress is. Allegedly, Morgan Freeman had been throwing all of these donations all over Mississippi. A lot of these donations went to a racist school. This particular school was known for barring its black students from either prom or just like barring its black students altogether. Whatever the case, it made a clear difference between its white students and its black students. So a lot of the black people in Mississippi did not like that because they didn't understand why Morgan was making all of these donations to this racist white school when there were black schools who were poorer who actually really needed the money. And gossip claimed that Morgan was putting so much money into this particular school because he was having an affair with one of its teachers, a lady named Mary Joyce Hayes. And Mary Joyce Hayes was said to be a very close friend of Morgan Freeman's wife. Well, listen at this. Gossip claims that Myrna Chileee already knew that Morgan Freeman was cheating on her with her friend Mary Joyce Hayes, and this was the reason for separation back in 2007 anyway. But it was when she found out the next woman in his life that baby, she could have fell over dead. And that's because the next woman was much closer than a doggone best friend, honey. The next woman was somebody that she loved with all of her heart. The next woman was somebody that she raised. And if this is all starting to sound a little weird to you and your head is getting cloudy, then baby, it doggone should be, because the next woman that Myrna Chileee found out about was Adina, the child that they had raised. What? Child. Baby, Morgan Freeman was out here dating his own step-grandchild child. And the folks say that when Myrna first found out about it, that she went off on Morgan and she told him that you stay away from my child. You stay away from Adina. You never see her again. But gossip claims that he did not stay away from Adina. As a matter of fact, Adina did not want to stay away from Morgan because she was in love with him. You know, it's even said that Morgan had told her that, hey, once I divorce Myrna, I'm gonna marry you. And so in 2010, Myrna and Morgan did get a divorce, and then he put out a statement basically saying, you know, these are grotesque rumors. I can't can't believe me and my family have to go through this. No, I've never been in a sexual relationship or tried to marry my step-granddaughter. This is ridiculous. And once he puts out this statement, pretty much everything starts to go hush-hush. Like, things start to die down. Everybody moved on. The public forgot about it. And then in 2015, Adina Hines, Morgan's step-granddaughter, ended up getting stabbed to death by her boyfriend. And when this happened, Morgan really didn't say much, you know, outside of saying that he was saddened that it happened and things like that. But he really didn't say much. It's almost like he tried to distance himself from the scandal, and he acted like him and Adina had distanced themselves. But notice I said acting like, because soon gossip started to spread and evidence started to show that Morgan and Adina were not as distant as he was trying to portray. And that is when, over the course of the boyfriend's trial, his name is Lamar Davenport, by the way, over the course of his trial, it started to become clear that this boy possibly murdered this girl because of her relationship with Morgan Freeman. Some text messages between Lamar Davenport and Adina Hines were released, and Lamar texted Adina and he said, when it comes to your grandfather, there will always be a kind of submissive love that is there. And Adina wrote back, I don't ask him for advice. He was calling to ask me. I blocked him for myself, not for you, because men who equal grandpa feelings should not be in my life. Those texts between them, for me, very much confirmed her boyfriend Lamar Davenport, mixed up with this jealousy that he already felt towards Morgan and Adina, ended up with her getting stabbed. But here's the thing, there have been several allegations of sexual misconduct against Morgan Freeman that have been swept under the rug. Because baby, back in 2018, 8 women came out and accused Morgan Freeman of sexual misconduct. Honey, one woman said that she was an assistant to him back in 2015 and Morgan gave her all type of unwanted touches. This dude went from touching and pawing all over this female to trying to lift her skirt up. Baby girl said that she walked past him and Morgan jumped up from his doggone seat and started walking behind her and kept trying to catch the back of her skirt, trying to lift it up, and was like, you got on any underwear? Do you got on any panties under there? Like, what you got on under there? Is that your bare booty under there? Like, trying to look up under her skirt and stuff. Then another assistant back in 2012, when she was working with Morgan Freeman on the movie Now You See Me, said that he was always trying to look down her shirt. And so she said, like, she resorted to wearing like turtlenecks. Another one said she was working with him on a show or a movie called Through the Wormhole, and like as soon as she walked on set to work, he straight up asked her, how do you feel about sexual harassment? And the girl said she was kind of taken aback and she was like, you know, I love it, you know, just basically playing around and stuff like that. And Morgan looked to his friends or the male guys that were standing over there and he was like, see guys, that's how you choose them, so you ain't got to worry about nothing. This is how you get them right there. And the girl said that she was stunned and she left and didn't come back. And one of the worst cases of sexual misconduct that he ever did was when a pregnant reporter was sent to talk to him. Honey, this woman said that before the interview could even get started, Morgan was walking all up on her and was like, looking down at her vaginal area, her breast and all this kind of stuff. Then she said he started to point at her lower stomach, pelvic area, and was like pointing kind of to where her baby was or whatnot, and was like, you know, I sure wish I was the one up in there. I would love to get up in there, baby. You are ripe. And so, you know, this girl felt disgusted. And then also, what does this mean? What do you mean, sir? What do you mean she's ripe? And what are you talking about? You want to be up in there? You trying to have your TT up in this girl's stomach? Is what you saying? Sir, is your TT even long enough to be up in this girl's stomach while you sitting up there doing all this? Because see, Morgan Freeman, at this point, you are doing too much, sir. And those are just some of the cases. Like I said, 8 women came out against him in 2018. And this is when the Me Too movement was in full force. So it is amazing that nothing happened to Morgan Freeman. It pretty much got to where it just died down. It just died down. Matter of fact, every single scandal that Morgan Freeman has been through has just disappeared and just died down. So I don't know. Maybe the man hasn't done anything wrong. All I can tell you is the scandal, child. The scandal. And this has been the Morgan Freeman member exclusive video. So I love you guys so much. I'll see you later. Bye.